Let's delve back into the Mega Drive library by taking a publisher-based focus on the legendary Namco. When it comes to game publishers, we all know that my first love is Sega, but if I wasn't running Sega Driven, then I'd probably be running a Namco-themed YouTube channel. I bloody love Namco me, and ever since I first became familiar with their arcade offerings through the PS1 Namco Museum compilations, I find myself absolutely fascinated with their output. Namco were an arcade game developer first and foremost, but with the release of the Famicom, they soon began development on third-party software for home consoles and expanded their reach beyond the arcades. Namco would use the Namcot label for games they published on home consoles, if you've ever been confused by what that's all about. So let's take a look at a selection of 5 Namco games and see how they fare on my beloved Sega Mega Drive. Gotta keep things Sega-centric, right guys? Felios was originally released in arcades in 1989 and brought to the Mega Drive in 1990 by Namco themselves. It's a vertically scrolling shoot 'em up, not too dissimilar to Namco's own fantasy shooters Dragon Spirit and Dragon Saber. You play as Apollo riding on a Pegasus, and you can fire small shots by tapping the fire button, or you can hold it to power up a more devastating attack when you release. You can collect speed ups, options, and supplementary homing attacks to really bring the pain, and there's also limited use attacks like a wave shot that can cover more of the screen. This is a really solid little shooter that I go back to a lot, and while it's not doing anything particularly special, what it is doing is fun and well built. There's a lot of enemy variety as well as boss battles, and the extremely low fidelity voice samples always get a chuckle out of me. Worth a play if you like your shmups.
I'm being held in the temple. Save me, quickly!
Burning Force is another game that originated in arcades in 1989 and was brought to the Mega Drive by Nova Company in 1991. Burning Force is a pretty blatant clone of Space Harrier, where you play as Hiromi Tengenji while riding an air bike and shooting wave after wave of baddies. The floor has a sort of wavy scrolling pattern to it that's a bit difficult to look at for extended periods of time. During the air bike stages you can use a standard shot that you can power up with various different weapon types, whilst also using supplementary and limited special attacks which do more damage. You can also speed up and slow down by pressing up and down respectively. While using the air bike you can only move along a horizontal plane, but on the third round of each stage your air bike becomes a spaceship that can move all around the screen similar to Space Harrier. While I don't think Burning Force is a particularly special game, I do think it's made well and offers up some decent fun if you like this sort of third-person arcade shooting game. Namco and Sega will trade ideas a lot during their early arcade game output, so keep an eye out for more of this sort of thing as we explore more of their library. Splatterhouse 2 is a pretty special little game because it's a home console exclusive to the original 1988 horror-themed beat-em-up. It doesn't diverge too much from the original formula, locking you to a single horizontal plane as you punch and kick your way through hordes of monsters. Things get particularly juicy when you pick up weapons, allowing you to smash enemies into walls with a suitably satisfying display of gore and violence. Weapons vary from stage to stage to keep things interesting, and the game is constantly introducing new enemy types and grotesque bosses for you to learn the patterns of. This is an absolute belter of a game that is only really let down slightly by the Mega Drive's limited colour palette, meaning a lot of the graphics have to be dithered to create the sort of detailed shading the artist wanted to portray. The first Rolling Thunder game would release in arcades in 1986 and is a side-scrolling run and gun where you have to guide the brilliantly named Albatross into enemy bases to shoot basically everything whilst jumping between upper and lower floors. The following year, Sega would absolutely rip this formula off with Shinobi and basically eat Namco's lunch in the process. The Rolling Thunder franchise would continue, but not with the same amount of success as Sega's Shinobi series. We've looked at the second Rolling Thunder game on the channel before, but until I recorded the B-roll for this video, I'd never actually experienced the third game in the series. Rolling Thunder 3, developed by Now Production Company and released in 1993, is basically more of the same. You run around long stages with 2 floors to jump between, while entering doors to obtain power-ups, additional ammo and new weapons to use against the enemies. Enemy variety is pretty poor when it comes to Rolling Thunder, with the game being largely populated by human enemies that take 1 or 2 hits to defeat. They can attack you with guns and grenades, and also have the same mobility as you, so be prepared to be chased between the floors and surrounded really quickly. Albatross is a bit of a frail whale, and he'll die after a couple of hits, so the game demands that you play well to make meaningful progress. It's a tough old game to love, but with enough persistence you can make the necessary progress to see more of the game and its bosses. Just don't expect any wild forays into different types of action while playing a Rolling Thunder game. You're basically always running and gunning while jumping up and down between floors. And finally, we're going to take a look at another home console exclusive in the form of 1994's Pac-Man 2 The New Adventures, once again developed by Namco themselves. Despite being billed as a direct sequel to Pac-Man, Pac-Man 2 ditches the maze-based exploration and pellet gobbling in favour of a point-and-click adventure game. You don't control Pac-Man directly and instead have to use a slingshot to bring his attention to various items in order to solve various puzzles in each scene. What Pac-Man does is also determined by his mood, so shooting him will make him sad, while giving him access to food will lighten his mood. It's a bizarre little premise that does require a lot of trial and error, but it can be really rewarding when you figure things out. It's got buckets of character as well, with absolutely tons of unique animations for Pac-Man to discover. The game also contains a secret exclusive Pac-Man game in the form of Pac Jr. This can be accessed by using the password PCJRDPW. In this variant of Miss Pac-Man, you play as Junior Pac-Man while clearing various mazes that change in design every 2 stages. The moving bonus items are all themed around baseball, and Junior Pac-Man is wearing a little baseball cap as well, which replaces his normal spinner cap. It's a lovely little extra that will appeal greatly to fans of traditional Pac-Man. And that's it for this video. There are many more Namco published games on the Mega Drive that we can explore at a later date, so if you like this video then please let us know and I'll make plans to make a future instalment in this series. Bye bye!